There is a land where water and earth are in a constant, gentle embrace. A place shaped not by stone and mountain, but by the slow, persistent work of rivers. This is Bangladesh. It is a nation that often lives in the shadow of grander neighbors, a name whispered with stories of floods and hardship. But to truly know this place is to look beyond the headlines. It is to listen to the quiet language of the land itself. One must stand at the water's edge and feel the ancient rhythms that have pulsed through this delta for millennia, a rhythm of creation and renewal that defines all life here. It is a world born from silt, a gift from the great Himalayas, carried down to the sea. The journey begins not with a map, but with a feeling. It is the feeling of damp, warm air on the skin, thick with the scent of rain-soaked soil and blossoming jasmine. It is the sound of a single oar dipping into the calm morning water, a sound that has echoed across these waterways for countless generations. Here, time does not always march forward. Instead, it flows, like the rivers themselves, in wide, meandering loops. To understand Bangladesh, one must be patient. One must be willing to simply sit and observe, to let the subtle drama of the landscape unfold at its own unhurried pace, revealing its secrets not in grand pronouncements, but in quiet moments. The first light of dawn reveals a world painted in soft pastels. The sky is a canvas of pale pink and gentle orange, reflected perfectly in the still surface of the river. Mist clings to the water, blurring the line between river and sky, creating an ethereal, almost dreamlike landscape. In the distance, the dark shapes of trees emerge slowly from the haze. The air is still, holding a profound sense of peace. It is a silence that is not empty, but filled with the promise of the coming day, the distant call of a bird, the gentle lapping of water against the riverbank. This is the world waking up. This land is a testament to resilience. It is a place that gives life in abundance, yet it can also take it away with sudden force. The people who call this delta home have learned to live in harmony with this duality. They have built their lives around the river's whims, their homes on stilts, their calendars marked by the seasons of water. They understand that the same floods that can threaten their villages also deposit the rich, fertile silt that nourishes their fields. It is a delicate balance, a partnership between humanity and nature, forged over centuries of shared existence, one of deep respect and profound understanding. The rivers are the arteries of Bangladesh. They are not merely features of the landscape, they are its very essence, its lifeblood. Great rivers like the Padma, the Jamuna, and the Meghna braid themselves across the country, creating a complex network of waterways that is ever-changing. Standing on the banks of the Padma, one can feel the immense power of the water. It is a wide, muscular river, its surface often choppy with currents that carry huge volumes of water and silt towards the Bay of Bengal. The sound is a constant, low murmur, a deep hum that speaks of its journey from the high mountains. This is the force that shapes everything. Life here is tethered to the water. Villages cluster along the riverbanks, their homes and markets oriented towards the flow. Wooden boats, known as nukas, are the primary means of transport. They are as common as cars in other parts of the world. Some are small, rowed by a single person on their way to a nearby market. Others are larger, with billowing sails, carrying goods like jute, rice, and pottery from one town to the next. Watching them glide across the water, it is easy to see how they are an extension of the people themselves, graceful, practical, and perfectly adapted to their environment. Each boat tells a story of commerce, family, and survival. Cities, too, are defined by the water. In Dhaka, the capital, the Buriganga River is a scene of constant activity, a chaotic yet mesmerizing ballet of ferries, cargo ships, and small rowboats. The water itself is dark and heavy with the burdens of a metropolis, yet it remains the city's heart. Early in the morning, before the full roar of traffic begins, one can hear the sounds of the river port coming to life. The shouts of boatmen, the clang of metal, the rhythmic chugging of ferry engines. It is a symphony of human endeavor, a raw and powerful expression of the city's relentless energy, all centered around this vital waterway. Away from the cities, the rivers become quieter, more intimate. Following a smaller tributary inland, the world transforms. The water becomes clearer, the banks closer. Here, the sounds change. The drone of engines is replaced by the chirping of kingfishers and the splash of children playing near the water's edge. Women gather on stone steps, washing clothes and sharing stories, their laughter carrying over the gentle current. It is in these smaller channels that one feels the deep personal connection between the people and the water. The river is a workplace, a playground, and a sacred space, all at once. If the rivers are the arteries, then the fields are the flesh of Bangladesh. Stretching out from the riverbanks in every direction is a seemingly endless patchwork of green. It is a green of 1,000 shades, from the bright, almost fluorescent color of new rice shoots to the deep, dark green of mature jute plants. The landscape is astonishingly flat, an immense floodplain that allows the eye to travel for miles, uninterrupted by hills or mountains. This flatness gives the sky an incredible sense of scale, making the clouds that drift above seem vast and dramatic. The air is thick with the sweet, earthy smell of growing things. The rhythm of life in the countryside is governed by the agricultural cycle. The seasons are not marked by temperature, but by planting and harvesting. During the monsoon, the fields are flooded, and farmers wade through knee-deep water to plant young rice seedlings, their movements precise and practiced. It is back-breaking work, performed under a hot sun, yet there is a grace to it. Then, as the waters recede, the fields transform. The rice grows tall, and the landscape turns from a sheet of water into a sea of vibrant green. This transformation is a source of profound hope and sustenance for millions of people. When the harvest time arrives, the fields change color once more, turning to a brilliant gold. The entire community comes together to cut the stalks of rice, binding them into sheaves and carrying them back to the villages. The sound of sickles slicing through dry stalks is a crisp, satisfying counterpoint to the soft rustle of the wind. It is a time of celebration and relief. Festivals are held, and the air is filled with the aroma of pitha, traditional rice cakes made to mark the abundance of the harvest. It is a moment when the land gives back, rewarding the hard labor of the people with the promise of food and security. But this agricultural paradise is fragile. The same fertile soil that provides so much is also vulnerable. The changing climate brings more erratic monsoons and rising sea levels, threatening to inundate these low-lying fields with salt water. The farmers here are on the front line of a global crisis. They speak of the changes they have seen in their lifetimes, the rains that come too late or too heavily, the salt that poisons the soil. Yet, they continue to plant. They continue to work the land with a resilience that is both humbling and deeply inspiring, their connection to this green and gold earth unbroken. At the southernmost edge of Bangladesh, where the great rivers finally meet the sea, lies a different world altogether. This is the Sundarbans, the largest single block of tidal mangrove forest on Earth. The name means beautiful forest, and it is a place of mesmerizing, almost primal beauty. Here, the land is a labyrinth of muddy islands, tidal rivers, and dense jungle. The air is heavy and salty, and the silence is profound, broken only by the cry of a sea eagle or the chattering of unseen monkeys. It is a world governed by the tides, which rise and fall twice a day, dramatically reshaping the landscape. The forest is uniquely adapted to this environment. The mangrove trees, particularly the sundari tree for which the forest is named, have complex root systems that anchor them in the soft mud. Some roots, known as pneumatophores, stick straight up out of the ground like snorkels, allowing the trees to breathe when the tide comes in. Walking through the forest at low tide is an otherworldly experience. The ground is a tangled web of these breathing roots, and the air is filled with the smell of salt and decay, the scent of a world constantly being broken down and reborn. It feels ancient, a living remnant of a much older planet. This is also a realm of remarkable wildlife. Herds of spotted deer move silently through the undergrowth, their coats providing perfect camouflage in the dappled light. Wild boar forage in the mud, and troops of rhesus macaques leap through the canopy. The waterways are home to saltwater crocodiles and the elusive Gangetic river dolphin. But one animal, above all others, defines the Sundarbans. It is the Royal Bengal tiger. This is one of the last remaining strongholds for this magnificent predator, which has adapted to a semi-aquatic life, swimming from island to island in search of prey. To catch a glimpse of the tiger is a rare and profound privilege. More often, one sees only its tracks, huge pug marks left in the soft mud at the water's edge. A powerful reminder of its presence. The local people, the honey collectors and fishermen who depend on the forest for their livelihood, have a deep and respectful fear of the tiger. They call it Bagh, and they have many stories and rituals intended to protect them from its power. The tiger is not just an animal here, it is a spirit, the undisputed king of the forest, a symbol of the wild, untamable heart of the Sundarbans. The human landscape of Bangladesh is as dense and complex as the Sundarbans' roots. In the cities and villages, one is immediately struck by the sheer number of people. Markets are a kaleidoscope of color, sound, and movement. They are crowded, chaotic places where everything is for sale, from gleaming fish and pyramids of colorful spices to handcrafted pottery and vibrant textiles. The air is a rich mixture of smells, cardamom and chili, fried snacks and sweet tea. It is an overwhelming sensory experience, yet within the chaos, there is an order, a rhythm of commerce and social interaction that has its own internal logic. Life is lived largely in the open. Families gather on the steps of their homes, neighbors chat across alleyways, and children play games in any available space. There is a powerful sense of community, of shared existence. This is born partly of necessity in such a densely populated land, but it is also a deep cultural value. Privacy is a less rigid concept here. Life flows from the home into the street and back again. This openness can be seen in the generosity of the people. A visitor is often treated as an honored guest, invited into a home to share a cup of tea or a meal, even when resources are scarce. Within this communal fabric, society is structured by traditions and laws that may seem unfamiliar to an outsider. In Bangladesh, which is a predominantly Muslim country, the law permits a man to have up to 4 wives. This practice, known as polygyny, is not widespread, but is legally and culturally permissible. It is a complex issue, viewed differently by different people. For some, it is a matter of religious tradition. For others, it can be a source of social and economic strain, particularly for women. To understand it, one must set aside judgment and see it as one part of a much larger and older cultural framework. This framework is also woven with moments of incredible beauty and celebration. Religious festivals like Eid bring entire communities together in prayer and feasting. Weddings are vibrant, multi-day affairs filled with music, elaborate costumes, and ancient rituals. Then there is Pohela Boishakh, the Bengali New Year, a secular celebration that unites people of all faiths. On this day, cities and towns erupt in colorful processions, with people singing, dancing, and carrying giant, brightly painted figures. It is a joyful affirmation of Bengali culture, a day when the struggles of daily life are set aside for a moment of pure, collective celebration. Bangladesh is a land of profound contradictions. It is a place of immense natural beauty, yet it faces severe environmental challenges. It is a nation of deep-rooted traditions, yet it is changing at a rapid pace. Here, one can witness scenes of great hardship, poverty, overcrowding, the struggle against a rising sea, and moments of pure, unadulterated joy, often in the very same day. A morning spent in a noisy, polluted city can be followed by an afternoon in a tranquil village where the only sound is the wind in the bamboo groves. This constant interplay between struggle and serenity is at the core of the Bangladeshi experience. The resilience of the people is perhaps the most powerful impression one is left with. They have learned not just to survive, but to find grace and beauty in a world of challenges. One sees it in the boatman who sings as he rows his small craft against a strong current. One sees it in the artisan who painstakingly embroiders a beautiful pattern onto a sari in a dimly lit workshop. There is a spirit of ingenuity and perseverance that runs deep in the national character, an ability to make the most of what little one might have, and to do so with a smile and a sense of enduring hope. This is not a simple country to be easily understood or summarized. It defies easy categorization. It is not just a story of poverty, nor is it just a story of idyllic rural life. It is both, and so much more. It is the roar of the tiger in the mangrove forest and the quiet dignity of a farmer in his field. It is the chaotic energy of a Dhaka market and the peaceful solitude of a river at dawn. To truly see Bangladesh is to embrace its complexity, to hold its contradictions in balance, and to appreciate the rich tapestry that they weave together. To journey here is to have your perceptions challenged and your senses awakened. It is to learn that a land defined by water can teach profound lessons about stability, and that a people facing immense adversity can be a source of incredible warmth and generosity. Bangladesh does not shout for the world's attention. It whispers. It invites you to come closer, to listen to the rhythm of its waters, to feel the pulse of its crowded cities, and to see the world not in black and white, but in the thousand shades of green, gold, and blue that paint this remarkable delta. It is a world of wonder, waiting to be discovered.